Kia ora koutou. Ko Sue Bag Tuko Ingoa, my partner in crime, Phil. Thank you for the opportunity to make a submission orally. I'm not going to put pictures on because I'm aware of the time constraints. I'm going to be straight up and I'm going to say what we'd really like is a big contribution to the young people of our city. We believe that there's not much in the plan for young people, especially. There are lots in the plan for young people to enjoy, but sometimes people who've had a rough start in life don't know where to go. And what we're trying to create is a one-stop shop on steroids, so that young people can know where to go for the help that they need. But what we really want in terms of the contribution of the council is to actually be able to say the fun stuff. Because I think sometimes it gets very wearing to always go asking for help. And what we'd like to do is create something where young people can come to actually meet others. Do you know what? Loneliness is most common in young people. And we know loneliness contributes to depression. And we know that the mental ill health of young people is getting worse. The mental health is deteriorating. Lots of things have happened to cause that. Gosh, everything from the earthquakes onwards, mosque shootings, COVID, iPhones. Not that they're causing depression, but they certainly contribute to not being able to socialise as well as people used to. What we want to create is a space where people can learn to socialise, can actually learn to contribute, get the confidence they need to get the jobs that they can get when they've got that really great confidence, and they can contribute to our city in a positive way, whatever kind of start they've had. So what we'd like to do is create a space where there's creative arts, there's sports and recreation, there's veggie gardening, there's a cafe, there's a job opportunity, there's opportunities for social entrepreneurship, there's youth workers and other people who understand their development to guide them, there's quiet areas, there's spiritual areas, so that young people of diverse cultures can meet together and start to understand each other. And what we really would love to then say to them, by the way, while you're here, you can get some help. We know that housing is in short supply for those who can't afford the high rents that are around at the moment. Most families help their young people to get a flat, or they give them a good start in terms of helping them to find somewhere that they can then move out of home to gain the independence they need. So what we really are looking for is that housing to be able to be available as well as all the other stuff. And what we're creating is housing, two types of housing, hostel housing and accommodation in more apartment type housing. And the idea is that they need to be looking for work or in training when they're in the housing. So then they can earn the income they need to actually pay for their own. And that's your first foot on the ladder of housing, if you like, self-sufficiency. So that's what we're trying to do. We would love the council to say, yes, we're here for young people as well as everybody else. Don't envy you your decision. It must be really hard. But at the same time, let's invest in people, especially the young people who are going to actually inhabit Christchurch in the future. So I've deliberately left time for questions because I'm really interested in what you're going to ask me.
Okay. Sarah?
Thanks so much for that. I was just wondering, when it came to the sort of garden and cafe space and the opportunity for young people to have experience in both of those, have you talked to Otakaro Orchard, because they're really close and doing exactly the same kind of thing?
Yeah, we've talked to Otakaro and Cultivate, which is a similar organisation, and they're going to help us run the veggie gardens on the roof.
Oh, great.
And so we're working together.
Yeah. Okay, thanks.
Yanni?
Thank you. Just two quick questions from me. And first off, thank you for the work that you're doing. Have you been consulted and engaged on the development of the Greater Christchurch Social and Affordable Housing Plan?
Not really. We've been working with government in terms of especially the youth homelessness budget, and the first phase for the hostel housing and the services is actually funded already by the shovel ready money from the earthquake fund. And so now we're trying to make sure that we have all the other bits around it to make it a really good place to be for young people.
Right. Okay. So we might like to ask if we can try and incorporate
That would be great.
what you're doing around some targets around youth housing. And then the second question is, you've made a request for 2 million. If that was staged over, say, like 3 or 4 years through maybe a grant from the Capital Endowment Fund on an annual basis, would that work, or do you need the money kind of upfront in 1 year?
We're trying to make it up front, because what we don't want to do is pass on debt, because we want any of the money that will come into us through rents of organisations using it, young people using it, we want that to go into people, staff, rather than going into CapEx. So we want the rent to be OpEx, so we want to fund CapEx in its entirety. Before we start building, we don't want to get into debt.
Going straight ahead with.
I guess it was more the timing of the grant in terms of the stage 2.
The first part will be fine in terms of design fees for that second cost, but we would, and it could perhaps go over 2 years, but we'd really like to be able to guarantee that we have the total amount that we need before we start, in terms of pledges or
Okay. Thank you.
Tyler?
Kia ora.
All right.
Your names ring positively through our city, and it's a real honour being in front of you today. I just wanted to just ask 2 questions. One is, your site's supposed to be on Salisbury Street, is that correct?
That's right, 109, in between
Wonderful.
Durham and Colombo.
And what's currently confirmed, and what really needs to be?
Currently confirmed
locked
is
in.
stage 1, which is the hostel housing and the services. And what we're looking for is apartment housing, the cost of that, and then the cost of the creative arts and entrepreneurship in the cafe and all those other bits.
I see. That's phenomenal. Thank you. I'll give you this. Love to
Thank
catch
you.
up.
Thank you very much. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Wonderful to see you again. Okie doke. So, Isaac Theodore Royal, Greg, please.